Hello. Welcome to How to Learn to Code with me, your friendly guide. I'm Paul. And yeah, I am a developer professionally, and I have been vibe coding a lot. And I realized that I didn't know how I would learn to code now because I started coding before I vibe coded, and tools kept on changing. I kind of kept incrementally adopting more and more AI stuff, and now I'm just using AI, all the time, all day, every day, and I'm like, well, how would I learn again? So I've just been kind of thinking about this for a while, and this is my attempt. This has never been tested on a real human. So welcome and good luck, and I hope this is helpful. So first, I just wanted to talk about kind of the meta problem of what this challenge is. Um, uh, Here I've got this little. We're going to run through this guide that I, of course, vibe coded. Um, But yeah, I mean, the thing with coding is you're going to get stuck, right? If coding was easy, everybody would do it. And because it's not easy, lots of people don't do it. And the people who do it still use AI a lot now, just because it's very frustrating. It's not really fun if you get stuck. So now that we've learned that, look at that, look at that. We're already 3% in. This is a very good website. Um, so yeah, so the desire to code has to be greater than how hard it is to code. So I had this diagram in my head. It's gonna be really like how hard it is to code and how much I want to code. And this is true even after you learn to code, because coding is always just continual learning. You don't just, oh, I learned to code. I'm done learning and now I just do. Every single day you have to learn something new. And if you don't feel like learning something new, and this box gets smaller than this box, then you just won't code. Then there's no more. Nothing's happening. It's over. You're gonna I don't know, watch TikTok, play frisbee, do something meaningful with your life. So to code, you either need to grow your desire, like, oh, I want to be rich and famous, like all my favorite celebrity developers. Um, and or you need to make it easier, right? You have to figure out ways to take hard problems and make them into smaller problems, um, so that you stay in this kind of happy space where you just, and this is another reason why AI is so popular, because I, as a developer, I don't always sit down with the motivation to do the hardest stuff. Um, but I can make it a little easier for myself with AI, and I can actually do more. Okay, so we learned that. Yeah, that's super obvious, but I just wanted to make that really clear. So when you're learning to code, there are things that you have to learn every day, new things, but there are fundamentals, and it's kind of just experience that teaches you the things that last, because it's like, oh, I needed to know that 4 years ago, and I still need to use that today. That was a good thing to learn. That was a good use of my time. There's other things that I've learned that were not even useful the moment I was learning them, and much less a week later, much less a year later. So we're going to go over some of these today, so you'll learn what these mean. But like terminal, I'm going to provide a really hot take that you should learn some Vim, Git, and web technology. Kind of just, even if you're doing the most bespoke, weirdest programming language in the entire world, I bet its docs are rendered as a website, you know. So there's always some benefit from learning some web stuff. Associative learning. Use what you know to learn what you don't. So I don't know if this is a well-known thing, and I'm sure actual learning people know things, but like there's a lot of things to know, right? And if you learn this thing over here, and then you learn this thing over here, and this thing over here, you're going to end up with a bunch of small bits of knowledge. They might all individually be useful, but it's not going to feel it's not going to feel complete, and it's really hard to hold on to these little pieces of knowledge when they're not attached to any other knowledge. So I think the best way to learn, whenever possible, is to take something you already know and learn something related to it or with that context. This is one of the reasons why you learn a programming language before you learn all the programming languages. Is you learn this programming language, and now you can learn how to make websites with this programming language. And once you learn how to make websites with this programming language, now you learn how to add an AI chat box to the website. You learn the language, then you learn how to make a website with it, and then you learn how to add an AI chat box to it. So I think that's also helpful because we're going to be using a lot of AI here for learning, is when you're phrasing your questions to AI, let it know what you already know a little bit. I'm this kind of person. I've been using this. Is there a way I could use it to do this? Is a great way to go. Look at this. We're already 12% done learning the code. This is really great. Describe your problem. So we're going to be doing this with AI, where we're going to tell it what our issue is, how I'm stuck, what's going on. Because you're going to get stuck. That's just the normal state of programming. And learning how to describe your problems is one, how you collaborate with other people. You have to be able to say what's going on. Because if you just say, my code doesn't work, it might be true, but that's not helpful enough for them to know how to help you. And same with AI, the more precise you can be, the more specific you can be. But this is actually well known before AI, and developers called it rubber ducking. You have a rubber duck on your desk. You describe your problem to the rubber duck, and just saying your problem out loud, verbalizing what's going on. I mean, this also happens with other developers. You sit down to type, here's what's going wrong, and I tried this, and I tried this, and I tried this. And by the time you're done writing out your problem, you realize what you did wrong, and you just go fix it yourself. So learn to describe your problems is a huge, really important skill. Again, you're going to get stuck. I just really want to emphasize this. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's great now with AI, and you're never going to feel stuck, and you're just going to have a wonderful life. The sensation, as it appears to me, it's naive. I've never been a farmer, but I suddenly just desire this idyllic simplicity of never looking at a computer ever again, because I'm just so frustrated, so tired of being stuck. And so the struggle, pushing through being stuck and actually succeeding, is how you're going to learn, right? You have to be working at the edge of your abilities to learn. And that's one reason why, vibe coding is not necessarily going to be the best way to learn, because you're getting rid of the struggle and you're getting a lot of success, but what are you learning? And so you have to be pushing yourself to learn. So there we go, 21%. All right. So the prerequisites, Claude added this. I didn't add this. If you're on Windows, use the WSL. I think you should have a Mac. I think that's your best chance. If you already have a Linux computer, you're probably pretty far along in this, and you don't need my help that much for getting started. So hey, good for you. That's great. if you're on Windows, it's harder to be a developer, especially starting out. So I recommend a Mac. Um, if you if you are on Windows, you're going to have some struggle. And if you push through that success, you're going to learn some stuff. And if you love being on Windows all the time, then that will be a fundamental skill is how to develop on Windows. So there you go. That'll be valuable for a long time if you figure it out. So feel free to figure it out. But for my case, I'm going to use a Mac, and everything I'm going to do is going to be on a Mac. If you see me doing something, you're like, I have no idea how I would do that on my computer, just ask the AI. You're going to need a Claude account. This is not one of those 20-year pieces of wisdom. This company hasn't been around that long, but right now this is what I'm using professionally, and a lot of my friends are using this professionally. And I think it's the best kind of one-stop shop for what you want, and we'll learn more about that. You're also going to need a GitHub account. So yeah, Claude is claude.ai. Claude.ai. What's the default? So yeah, sign up account. I have a Max account. Oh, that's something I should have put in this. You're going to have to pay Claude money to really follow this tutorial. How do you turn hiding on, please? Thank you. I made a whole new Mac user for this so that I could really get the from scratch experience, because a lot of this complexity is very early in the process, and it's very frustrating. So I wanted to kind of go through it personally, and so then yeah, you need a GitHub account. So github.com. Cool. So yeah, those are just normal things. Sign up with the email address, and in Claude's case, you're going to need at least the Pro plan, I think, which is I believe it's like $20 a month. It's worth it if you want to code. It's a big time investment, and it's worth putting some money in. In this case, for Claude, I think is a great investment. Okay, so becoming a developer. Yeah, no spoilers. We're going to prompt a small app in Claude Code. I've already did this, but I'm going to do it again. I did this with make me a Flappy Bird clone with emojis. So let's just try this again. Make me a Flappy Bird clone with emojis. All right. So I'm a new developer. I don't know how to make it. I don't know how this should be done in code. I just want it to exist. So I just asked for it to exist. While this is cooking, it's drafting an artifact. So now it's writing code. And we can already see what the issue might be. If you're learning to code and you ask Claude to make you something, and it starts spitting out all this stuff, it's like, well, what does this mean? I mean, I know what a gradient is. I mean, just like, what is going on here? And there's going to be a million things. So you have no idea. Having coded for a long time, can read most of this and could probably make targeted changes. It would take me a long time to write this myself. But really what you need to do is you have to be able to understand it. You have to be able to read code and understand code to be able to make targeted changes. Because nobody really writes everything themselves, If you make a website, you don't build the web browser, right? Or you maybe use a framework from somebody else. Everybody has some level of dependencies. All right, so we have a Flappy Bird game. So now we're developers. Let's see how it plays. Oh yeah, this is great. Oh wow. Oh good. Okay, so I'm seeing a problem when I play a new game. This is what we call a bug. When I start a new game, all the pipes from the last game stay. Okay, so every time I start a new game, all the pipes from all the last games are still on the screen. You're right. This is something I've noticed with Claude Code is that, or Claude, the website, when it's making these are called artifacts, is it likes to try to edit the code, and the website, we're going to see on my computer, it's very good at editing code, but on the website, it's somehow just awful at editing code. It normally gets it wrong. Like when I was working on this tutorial, you see this is V6. So I started out here V1, and I was like, this is fine, but it just looks way too like HR department-y. I don't know. It's just really not my aesthetic. So I asked for a different aesthetic, but then I said, yeah, can you give it more of a 90s GeoCities vibe and use more subdued colors? By the way, how I built this, just so you know, is I had a markdown file. I just wrote this whole tutorial up of what I was about to do, and then I asked it to turn it into an interactive tutorial. This is my original prompt, right? So that's what came up with this. I didn't like this very much, so I asked, can you give it more of a 90s GeoCities vibe and use more subdued colors? Also, like there was this little bug where these were on the same line. I asked it to fix that. It did not fix this part, but it did make it look like GeoCities. But see, this bug was still there. And also, my cursor disappears when I go over it. So I'm like, okay, I know what a cursor is, so I know how to ask for the fix. My mouse is invisible. Don't mess with the cursor. And it's like, I'll fix that by removing the custom cursor. So version 3. Still an invisible cursor. So I say, no, it still disappears a lot. Let me check for any cursor related CSS. I found and removed a cursor pointer declaration on the copy buttons. I guess it was thinking about these copy buttons here. So yeah, it fixed it in one spot, but it's still invisible on the whole website. It said, and so at this point, was this V4, yeah, still invisible. I'm a developer who's learned some things about web technology, so I can look at this code and, oh, I see there's this cursor being defined with this some bizarre, I don't know what they're trying to do here, make some sort of image. So I can bring my knowledge to the prompt and improve the situation. I said, no, there's still a custom cursor on the body. I'm referring to this body style. You're right. Let me remove that custom cursor from the body element. There we go. I've removed the custom cursor. So what happens? Let's go to V5. Still the invisible cursor. So this is the danger of vibe coding. You can say what you want. You can even be precise sometimes, and it might get it wrong. So if you don't have the understanding, how would I can't edit this, right? How do I fix this? And so what happens is we end up having to go back to the fundamental tools, the things we learned in the first place about development, and rely on those to fix things and build things. And so I'm sure whatever, the next version of Claude will maybe be better at not hiding cursors randomly when prompted to make GeoCities websites. But for right now, I need to be a productive developer. So I have to be able to fix this, right? So here's what, in this case, I said, you don't seem to understand how to remove stuff. I've had this happen before with Claude Code. You might have to rewrite this to fix it. And so somehow it does a better job when it rewrites something from scratch than when it tries to make edits. And that was the version 6, the latest version that actually gave me my cursor back. And also, finally, put these on a different line. All right, so where were we? Oh yeah, we were prompting Flappy Bird. I had something similar happen with my last Flappy Bird project, where the collisions weren't working correctly. And I asked it for some fixes, and then I eventually I eventually had to add a debug stuff so I could see exactly where, like, see, like there's a little, the collision box of the bird. I'm pointing at the screen. That's really helpful. The collision box of the bird is a little taller than the bird. So that's one of the reasons I was dying so much. And I also added its like debug sliders so I can make the game easier. Like up the gap size, lower the jump force. And now I'm the world's greatest Flappy Bird player. All right. So yeah, so let's see how this one's doing in version 2. Um, okay, cool. There's some like weird flickers. I'm still pretty bad at it. You know, I like that version with the debug window because I can make adjustments. So what I'm going to do now is, look, you're already a developer if you could prompt that, right? Code happened. You know, you click publish up here. That's live on the internet. If that's good enough for you, and you don't want your size of how, you know, I shouldn't have deleted those other boxes. The size of how much you want to learn to code is not much bigger than a prompt like that. Then I mean, you know, I'm not here trying to force you to learn. So, yeah, you're a developer. Congratulations. So that's great. And it's an amazing state of humanity that is the case right now, that you can just prompt an app and it exists. But if you want to become a better developer, if you want to be able to fix my hidden cursor problem, we're going to do some hard stuff. We're going to struggle, and we're going to learn so many concepts, and I'm probably going to blow through them too fast. But you already have a place you can go. You have Claude. You can ask anything you get stuck on. And the more you learn about the problems you're having, the better you can describe those problems so you can get better help when you ask. And so that's if you want to become a better developer, that's your life now. Or, you know, read a book or do an online course or whatever. I mean, there's lots of other ways to become a developer, but in this system, that's your life now. So we're going to download a terminal application. So this is Ghosty. This is my favorite terminal. Terminal. So the Mac comes with a terminal. Hello. So you list your files and stuff like that, but it's just not very nice. So let's get a better terminal. We're going to spend a lot of time in the terminal because we're developers. So let's do it. So I'm going to download. Not going to look at my email recovery codes. Let's see. A lot of times, oh yeah, there you go. I have to allow it. There we go. Okay, where'd that go? In my downloads folder, I'm opening up the disk image. All right, I'm going to install Ghosty. Turns out I already have it because I already have Ghosty on my computer. Let's do it. Oh. All right. Let's put I think it maybe didn't want to overwrite the existing copy of Ghosty. So anyways, that's how you install a program on the Mac. You've got this. I'm going to try to remember to keep my text size up. I apologize if I forget. So we're in the terminal. We've installed Ghosty. So one of the things I was talking about is learn the fundamentals. This is a terminal. And you can look it up why developers ended up with these terminals rather than point and click for everybody else is using. Uh, but it's really stuck around. And every time you think something's come along that makes it so you don't have to use the terminal anymore, oh, all of a sudden you got to use the terminal again. I'm going to show you one of those things pretty soon. But one way to think about the terminal just in this basic state, it's just a different view. There's this command called open on the Mac, and it just opens it in the file browser. So this is just a different view of this. So if I do ls for list, it's desktop, library, pictures, documents, it's just all these same folders. If I make a new folder, let's do that now. We're developers. This is how I have my personal computer set up. Well, mkdir, make dir, and I'll call the folder dev, right? And I hit enter, and now there's a folder in here. And it's empty. If I wanted to go into that folder, I'd cd into dev. And if I hit ls, well, there's nothing in there. If I touch to create something like test.txt, I created that file. And now if I ls, there's a file in there. And if I go cd dot dot, I'll go back. So now I'm back in that first folder. So cd dev, I'm in the dev folder. Cd dot dot is the same thing as like hitting this back arrow, right? I'm back in here. So that's basically what we're going to learn about the terminal for now. I definitely recommend, trying to learn this over time. This is a tool. Again, I really tried to resist this as a developer for the longest time. Like, oh, I'm just so uncomfortable in the terminal. But there's just so much upside to the more time I spend getting better at the terminal. I'm more effective. I can solve more problems because of it. So we're gonna learn. We're in here learning fundamentals. Okay, so now we're gonna install bun. We're going to need bun to be able to, bun I use for making web stuff, but bun is also useful for installing some things off the internet, including something called Claude Code, which is what we're going to be using to code in the terminal. So this is the command on Mac OS. If you see something like this, curl, and then these, whatever this is and whatever this is, and then piping to bash, this is downloading something from the internet and then running the code that you just downloaded. So you only want to do this when you are on a website that you trust. So I'm sure that I'm on bun.sh. I'm on the right website. So let's go back to our terminal and let's... doesn't matter where we run this, so we'll just run it right here. Bun was installed successfully. Shoot. Manually add the directory to ZSH or C or similar. Oh no. Okay. Well, this is scary, but let's try it. We're gonna let's copy this. Tilde. See, I'm right now, tilde is like the home directory. That's where I'm at right now. So we're going to cd to tilde slash dot zshrc. Okay. No such file. Okay. All right. So which bun? Bun not found. So there's no program called bun yet. Even though we installed it, it's in this place. Okay, so this this is a perfect case in point of why you have to kind of learn some terminal stuff. Because another tutorial might say, hey, use bun or use node or whatever. And then you go to install that thing, you go on GitHub, you follow the instructions, and all of a sudden you're facing something like this and you have no idea what's going on. And so I don't expect you to totally understand what's going on right now, but the more you understand what's being asked of you right now, actually here, this is a good example. Let's just copy this. And let's ask Claude about it. I just tried to install Bun. What do I do now? I am a total beginner in the command line. Let's see what it says. Great. You successfully, okay. This is interesting. Okay, so this is nice. First, copy and paste this command into your terminal and press enter. Okay. Well, I'll just do what it says. I should do better window management. Okay. Echo, export, bun install, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Then copy and paste this second command. Okay. Now either close your terminal and open a new one or run this command. Okay. Test if it worked by typing bun -- version. Yes. We got a version. Remember when we tried which bun before, bun not found. But now if I say which bun, that's where it is. All right. So again, I don't expect you to understand all of that the first time you do it. This is such a foreign interface. It can seem just like you're just doing totally arcane magic things. But the more mastery you have, the better off you're going to be. All right. We've got Bun installed. How are we doing? Look at that. Look at that. We are at 39% a developer. Okay, so now we need Claude Code. And this is why we had to install Bun to be able to do this. Okay, so I'm going to open up this link. So when you're a developer, you end up on GitHub pages a lot. It's like this is a repository of code. And you'll usually have a README, which we're on right now, which will have instructions of how to install it or use it. These are not very detailed instructions. You could just follow this, but I'm here, so I'm going to have you use Bun instead of NPM for this. But I'm going to show you. Now I need to install Claude Code. It says to use NPM. Oh gosh. Can I use Bun instead? I mean, you probably would have known to ask this. You probably just gone ahead and do it, but I'm here to help. See, we're already in a chat where Claude knows we're a total noob, so it's going to help us. All right, yes, you can use Bun instead of NPM. So Bun is an NPM replacement. I know that because I'm a developer. And I greatly prefer Bun to NPM, so I didn't want to put you through the pain of NPM. All right, so let's do this. Bun install -g. -g means, in this case, global. All right, so we installed. Now we should be able to run Claude Code by typing Claude Code. I think it's, this didn't work. I know what it is, but I don't want to tell you. It didn't work. Okay, first let's check if Claude Code was actually installed. There it is. Oh dear. This is great. This is great. Okay, sometimes, okay, here's a pro tip. This is so educational. We're learning so much. Sometimes when I want more up-to-date information, these language servers or these LLMs are trained at a certain time, and they might not have the newest, hottest stuff. How do I run Claude Code after installing it? Doesn't work. So I use Perplexity for more up-to-date information because it'll... Okay, interesting. Install, then run Claude. Ha ha ha! It worked. All right. So let's get this set up. We're as developers, we're gonna use dark mode because that's way cooler. And see, you have to have this $20 a month pro plan minimum. And so I actually use the max plan because I'm very wealthy. So it's just going to open up the browser to authorize. I'm going to click authorize. And I'm logged in. Okay, so we got some security notes, prompt injection, yada, yada, yada. This Claude Code can run things on your computer. So it's saying be careful because if it runs something bad, that would be bad. So it's going to ask for permission a lot to do things, which is good. All right, so hit enter to continue. We'll use the recommended settings. Sure. Yes, I trust these files. Okay. I'm going to allow it to access. I'm going to allow it to access. I'm going to allow it to access. I don't think it needs my photo library. Oh, sure. Ghosty. This is Ghosty asking. Sure. Okay. Now you're stuck in Claude Code. How do you quit? Hit Control C and then Control C again. There's probably also an exit. Something that we did is we started Claude Code in this folder, in our main home folder. I wanted to do it in the dev. And in fact, so I CD'd into dev. In fact, I want to make this Flappy Bird project. So let's do a new folder called make dir Flappy Bird. CD, change directory into Flappy Bird. All right. So now we're going to run Claude again. Yeah, wait. Install Claude Code. Look at this. We have the essential tools, 42%. That's a great number. We're going to have, I was going to do git. Yeah, okay. We want to learn fundamentals, right? One of the fundamentals is Git. And one of the frustrating things when you're starting out as a user is to configure Git on your computer, you have to run stuff in the command line. There's a Git desktop, but it's just completely unrelated. And so we need to do what it's asking for us to do. So let's say I'm going to use my existing GitHub account probably. So I'm going to, oh yeah, but now that we've installed Claude Code, we could ask it. So we're not even going to, we're in this project folder, we're not even going to work on the project yet. We're just going to keep getting our computer set up. So yes, I trust. And by the way, if all of this feels like a lot, remember the size box thing, right? How much do you want to code? If this is too much struggle, definitely find an easier way or quit. Or upsize your desire to code. But these are things that, developers have gone through in the past. And I believe in you. We're not a different breed of human. We just are, obsessive enough about computer stuff to learn this stuff. So we need to git config. See, how do I set, let's just prompt this, let's add this whole prompt in here. How do I set up Git so I can push to my GitHub account? I'm on a new Mac. Okay, so Claude can run commands for me, right? It just wrote a command. It's asking if it wants to run this, but like, my name isn't your name, and my email isn't your dot email example. So I'm gonna say no. I don't want you to do that. Glad you asked. Use my name, Paul Miller, and my email address, paul@paul.lol. So remember, we were trying to learn all these arcane commands like make dir and ls and cd and stuff like that. But now that we have Claude Code, we can have it help us use the terminal. Um, so I'm just going to say yes. Now you need to authenticate with GitHub. Since GitHub no longer supports password authentication, you need to either use SSH keys or a personal access token. Okay, for SSH, it says it recommends SSH. Okay, sure, let's use SSH. And it might not have, it's random, so it might not have given you this exact follow up. But I guess because I asked it so I can push to my GitHub account, it thought ahead and like, oh, well, you're also going to need to authenticate up to GitHub. So sure, let's keygen. It got an error and it's just correcting it. Yes. Okay. Hopefully it tells us what to do next. Sure, you can display the public key. Sure, you can copy it into my clipboard. Okay, this is great. This is way better than the last time I had to set this up. Perfect. I've generated your SSH key. Copy to your clipboard. Now go to, by the way, on Ghosty, if you hold Command, you can click on links. Look at all these SSH keys. So, noob tutorial. And I'm going to paste this. Let's do this off screen. I think it's fine, but just in case. I've pasted it and I'm clicking add SSH key. All right. And I'm going to close that. All right. Sweet, I did it. Can you test if it works? No. I don't know what's happening now. This is why I say this is one of the hardest things, and you have to do this before you can do anything with Git. Nice. Hi, Future Paul. You've successfully authenticated, but GitHub does not provide shell access. We've won. All right. So now we can clone repos. So, this is a repo, right? I could clone a whole copy of this with just a single command. I could push and pull. So that's how you save your changes. We'll get more back to Git in a bit. I forget why I needed to do this, but it's nice actually. Okay. It's getting harder. The struggle will continue until morale improves. Let's ask it how to install NeoVim. In fact, I kind of meant this prompt to include this URL. Yeah, let's include this URL. So we're going to say, how do I install NeoVim? I'm on a new Mac. And then I'm going to paste in the actual guide of how to install NeoVim that I found on the internet, right? So just because I found something on here, I was like, there's so much information. I don't know. And now I'm going to give you an additional piece of information. I don't want to use Homebrew because that's just me. That's a personal preference. You can use Homebrew if you want to. But I'm going to say I don't want to use Homebrew. So it's going to fetch this document and look at it. And I love it when it fetches stuff from GitHub to actually read the documentation. So I'm going to say, don't even ask me again. Just do it. I love that. Can't believe I'm 45 minutes in and I'm still just installing things. But hey, this is a timeless setup. What we're getting right now is NeoVim, which is a do they have screenshots? Oh no, this is not very helpful. It's an editor that runs in your command line, and I don't even use NeoVim very much. I use Cursor usually as my main editor. The problem is all these great new editors, they come and go. And they also have a ton of AI features. And when you're learning, you only want to ask for help when you need help. You don't want automatic help because then it becomes too easy to do things without understanding them. So we're kind of trying to give ourselves a hard mode. And the cool thing about NeoVim is you learn NeoVim and it's useful. These are skills that are going to be useful for years and years. They end up being fundamentals. It sounds a little arbitrary right now. Like I have perfectly good text editors on my computer. Why do I need to use NeoVim? But it's valuable and it pays off over time. It might be the dumbest part of this tutorial. Maybe you should just get Cursor or VS Code, and I'm not going to hate you if you do. It's going to do something, extract and install NeoVim system-wide. Sure. Password is required. Yeah, I like that. Home directory. Thank you. I'm hoping that whatever I'm doing on this guest user doesn't mess up my normal setup. Okay. Oh, remember that ZSHRC thing? Look, it's happening again. Right? So sometimes you learn something and it actually ends up being valuable over time, which is great. Yeah, now it's going to test to see if it worked. Perfect. NeoVim is installed. You can run it with NVim. All right, let's open a new terminal window. Let's try to get the text size similar. Oops. NVim. Look at that. All right. How do I install NeoVim? Wow. Wow. I can't believe we did it. This is something, I think I have this in some fundamental skills tracker. We already learned some of these like list, change directory, make directory. So let's check that off. Vim. Hardest part about Vim is quitting Vim. You type a colon and then Q and now you're out. All right. So I open up Vim in Vim and I quit with colon Q. Bam. All right. And you can save file with colon W and you can save and quit with colon WQ. Right and quit. Nice. All right. So I want to make NeoVim, it's looking a little bare bones. It's looking a little terrifying, to be honest. So we're going to make it pretty with this thing. I should have put the link in here. There's a really good YouTube video that goes over this, the Kickstart in Vim. But we're just going to have Claude figure it out. How do I install this NeoVim Kickstart thing? Paste the link. This is going to be your life. Learning to code with AI is finding something you want to do, finding information that seems relevant, and asking the AI to figure it out. Over time, you might just, you don't need, it's extra steps. You understand what's going on. You know how to edit your ZSHRC file yourself, and you don't even want to bother. But yes, we're going to, yeah, it's fine. It's good. It's asking us if it can do this command. ls, we know what ls is. It's just listing. So yes, you can do that all the time, Claude. All right. Now it's going to clone Kickstart. So that, remember, we've got git now. Git clone. Do you want to proceed? Yes. And you don't even have to ask again for that. Yada, yada, yada. Great. You have all the required tools. Now start NeoVim and automatically install all plugins. Okay. In Vim. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. More. Oops. Okay, let's... I'm just going to copy this. Command C. Command V. It's pasted all that. We have a problem. Now, when I was learning to code, when you would run into a problem, you had to Google for the solution. Now you copy and paste it into the AI, and most of the time that's the better solution. It wants to reinstall NeoVim. Great. All right, let's give it a shot. Let's uncheck how to install NeoVim. Oh man, this you know, this is my first time trying this tutorial. We could just crash and burn right now. This could be the end for us. It says try running again. Yes. Yes. Look at that. It's installing plugins. Wow. Type enter or type command to continue. Okay. 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 Successfully initialized. I don't know what's going on here. It's like it installed all these plugins and I don't know what view I'm in anymore. I guess home. H. I don't know. I'm just going to quit. That's something I know how to do. Oh, look, it didn't even quit. Now I quitted. I had to quit twice, but now I fully quit. All right, we installed NeoVim again. We've got NeoVim Kickstart, and definitely recommend watching the video. All right, so let's build Flappy Bird. We installed all of the tools that we need. Now, at the 54-minute mark of this video, we get to learn how to code. So what I want to do, and I've done this myself. This is kind of what gave me the idea to teach this as a tutorial, is that I realized I was kind of tired I missed coding. I was just vibing and not coding enough. So I wanted to learn a new thing. And I took a tutorial and I basically fed it to Claude and had it tutorialize me through it. So we're going to copy the app that we made. This by version 15 of the emoji Flappy Bird game that's got this nice debug menu. It's got this hitbox. It's very good. I'm just going to, I think there's a copy, but yeah, copy. And I'm just going to, before I do this, I want to see which folder we're in. So I'm going to Control C to quit. Yep, I'm in Flappy Bird. Okay, so Claude, start it back up again. I wanted to, before I do this, I don't want to cheat. And I have the max plan, so I have Opus. Let's see, config model. We're going to go with Sonnet. This is for the pores. So I get a lot of Opus usage with my plan. You get pretty much unlimited Sonnet usage, I believe. So even with the regular Pro plan. So I'm going to switch to Sonnet. All right. And then it says escape to close. All right. I'm going to paste all this code that I just copied in here. And then I'm going to say, can you save this to a file called example? All right. There's easier ways to do this. I could always just download this file and put it in there myself, but why not make Claude do all the work? I'm also kind of getting Claude acquainted with the fact that this exists, and now it's thinking about it. Let's see where we're at. I think I'm gonna hide the tutorial. We're about to, copy the app into Claude code. Well, I guess what we're going to do next is we're going to ask Claude to help us write our own version. That's the meat. Oh, it's really thinking about this. All right, do a yes, and you don't even have to ask. You even knew to add the .html because that's an HTML file, which is what web browsers render. All right, so we're going to ask Claude, can you guide me step by step through a tutorial to make my own version of, and then if you do it at, you can refer to files, example.html. And then I think what I want to do is I'm going to do a Shift Tab, and now we're in plan mode. It's not even going to write, make edits anymore. It's just going to talk to me. All right, it made a step-by-step. Now, this is coding wisdom that's been encoded into Claude code, that when you're doing something big, you just don't do the whole big thing. Sorry, it keeps on scrolling. You break it up into chunks. And if a chunk is ever too hard, you make that into smaller chunks. And only once you feel like you don't know how to make it any smaller is the point where you are truly stuck. All right, we've got a Flappy Bird tutorial. We've got HTML structure, CSS styling. There's so much information, so I like that we're going to do this step by step. Here's Claude's plan. Yes, and auto accept edits. Sure. I bet it would have wrote that down to a file if I didn't have it plan mode. Maybe that would have been better. But that's fine. All right. No, I thought I don't. No, no. This is why we're in plan mode. What is it doing? No, you were supposed to teach me. Claude thought that it had been given a step-by-step guide for how to make something, and it decided to make it. We are in plan mode, right? All right. First, create a new file called myflappybird.html. All right. Finally, I'm going to pull the tutorial. We've asked Claude Code to guide us in writing our own version. And now we need to do the whole thing until it works. And we are 61% developers at this point. All right. So now it's time to start flexing some of the information. I'm going to keep this. Gotta rearrange my windows a little bit. All right. It looks like it already created a myflappybird.html, but I wanted to do it myself. So I'm going to rm my, and if I do tab and I have a couple of the early letters of it, it'll autocomplete. So I did tab. All right. Now that's gone. So now I'm going to touch myflappybird.html. So that creates the file. Now it exists, but it should be empty. So now if I do in vim my tab myflappybird.html, nice. We have a nice blank document. All right. Now we can copy and paste. I don't think it's the worst thing that's ever happened, but it's good to get better at typing, and typing puts some of the knowledge into your fingertips. It ends up sticking with you a little bit better if you type things out yourself. This is why we're not using a fancy editor with all the autocomplete stuff. Although you can set up in NeoVim to do all that. All right, we got HTML, language, English. We're going to make a head. What do you think these lines do? Each of these lines does. What do you have that you have the game to, container to hold anything, a bird element score display. Okay, so this is interesting. When I tried this before, I got a slightly different tutorial. I'm just going to copy this stuff blindly. See now, can you explain what these, the basic HTML skeleton means? I think it thought we might already know about HTML, but let's pretend that we don't. And we don't know what this is. And, you know, as fun as it is typing things that you have no idea what they mean, it's more fun to figure out what they do mean. Okay, so doc type. Hey, this is an HTML file. Now this is my language. Thank you. All right, HTML lang in. The content is in English. Yes. Head. This is information about the web page that doesn't show on the actual page. Oh, well, that doesn't seem very useful. Meta car set. What does this do? Okay. Viewport. Title. Oh, I like the title. All right. So this just seems like we can copy and paste it. We'll write the title ourselves. Title, my Flappy Bird. Title. Okay. Slash head. It closes the head section. Okay, so we're done. By the way, you know what? I have been remiss. I started using Vim without explaining what I was doing. I've told you how to save, right? :W, and how to quit. But what am I doing in here? If I hit I, I'm in insertion mode and I can type. And if I hit escape, I'm in this visual mode where I can like move around with different commands. Like K is up and J is down and B is back and W advances a word and L and H go left and right. there is a tutor. Vim tutor. Help. Okay, here we go. There's a better tutor than this. Oh, there you go. Vim tutor. Vim tutor. Oh, I think it's a whole different program. There it is. Welcome to the Vim tutor. All right. This might be a little side quest. You got to learn how to get around in Vim. But escape, Q, you're out. All right. All right. We have the head section. Then we're going to do a body. And close the body. What it does is where all the visible content goes. Okay, cool. I like these tabs. /HTML closes the entire document. Does this help explain the structure? All right. Okay, so how do I test if it works? Open your web browser. Oh yeah, I like the double click method. Easiest. That's what we're at. So I'm going to do a new tab and see we're still in that same folder. If we do ls, and remember you can open a folder like that, right? So I can just double click it. There's my Flappy Bird. Also, you can do open myflappybird.html. And look at that. Okay, so it's blank. All right. This is where we're not just copying blindly. We're trying to think what is happening. We're trying to understand as much as we can. We can't understand everything, right? I know what UTF-8 means. You don't have to. I don't know everything about UTF-8. I don't have to. But trying to understand a little bit of what's going on to make sure that we're understanding it. I think I just said understand to make sure we're understanding, basically. So I have a theory. It said that all the visible content goes inside a body. So what if I said, is this visible? Right? Now the tutorial didn't ask me to do this. I'm making a change. And I had this actually in my, this is a fundamental skill. Changing things and seeing what happens reinforces learning. Well, let's do it and see if it works. Okay. Now I'm going to hit refresh. It is visible. So I'm doing a great job. Great. I have reinforced learning. So I had a theory, just went with it, and it paid off well. I'm realizing now that this might go on for a long time, and at some point it's going to run out of context and it's going to forget how we started, right? And we need to have it remember the whole tutorial. So I'm going to ask it to write down the tutorial into a document. So I'm going to switch out of plan mode. This is just normal mode. By the way, you know how I was using Vim in here, right? These motions. Oops. Well, that was... I have, if I go to config, editor mode, Vim. Now, see, I can jump around and stuff. I can do, it was supposed to fix that terminal to like do the shift enter, but anyways, I use Vim not just in Vim. I use Vim in VS Code. I use Vim in Claude code. That's why it ends up being a fundamental skill. Um, okay, so what am I asking it to do? Oh, can you make the whole tutorial for implementing example into a tutorial.emd file, markdown file? Remember, that's how I wrote my original tutorial that we're looking at right now. So I'm just going to have it make a new file, just really make this whole tutorial. And that way it'll have a source of truth that we can keep referring to. If we shut down the computer, start up again, we can kind of pick up where we left off. And I forgot to mention, and we'll see how far we get on Flappy Bird. We are an hour and 10 minutes. Hey, that's fine. You don't learn to code in a minute. Thinking a lot about this. One thing I wanted to say is, well, this is cooking. I would love for you to build Flappy Bird with me. I think you'll get even more value if you go to Claude and you prompt it to make something else, and then you try to build that thing. So feel free to follow along with Flappy Bird, or just take this as a framework for how you could do this loop of make something that you want to exist in the world in Claude, vibe it, and don't understand it. Copy it. Don't go too big or too complicated, because then it might be hard to turn into a tutorial. But something that is interesting to you, something you'd want to see in the world, or you'd like to understand how it works or how to build it, and then bring it into Claude Code and have it turn that into tutorial. Because then you know the target, you know it's possible, right? And you always have something to refer to if you get super stuck. But now you want to learn, you want to internalize the understanding that you would need. All right, sweet. I'm sure this is great. It's writing this. All right. We have the HTML skeleton. What do I do next? Okay. Add these three. Okay. Step 2, add game inside your body tag. Add these three main game elements. Okay, so Vim DD deletes a line. So we're going to make a div. And I'm going to start speeding up a little bit because I don't want this video to go forever. Bird. By the way, on Mac, if you double tap function key, you get a bird. Let's see, what kind of bird do we want? Let's use a different bird than the one. Oh, I like the flamingo. Oh, that's good. Oh, we didn't get the bird. Wait, come on. There it is. Oh, gosh. Okay, try again. Wow. Computers are hard sometimes. Bird. Okay, you know what? I'm going to make a new text document. Bird. And I'm going to copy, Command C, paste. Nice. We have a bird. Nope, slash div. Anything that you want to learn about that you're doing and you don't understand, you can ask. If it's just like, hey, I don't care about learning that right now, I want to like breeze through it and I'm going to focus on other parts of it, I think that's fine too. Just make sure that you if the goal is to learn to code, try to, keep learning. Um, div. All right. Yeah, we have the body and we have the HTML. Sweet. Okay. What each game element does. A picture. That makes sense. We have a bird, we have a score, we have a whole container. Why do we use ID? Yada, yada, yada. Great. We're learning so much. All right. So now colon W, save it. We're going to refresh. We're basically almost done with this. Okay. I know something that you don't, potentially. There are better ways to get this preview. And so I'm going to ask it, hey, I already have Bun on my system. Is there a way we could set this up so it live reloads? Also, so maybe it formats my HTML code. I don't like the tabs that Vim is defaulting to. Let's see what happens. Absolutely. So what we're doing right now is we're doing that thing where we know something. We knew Bun existed. It's like, hey, I already have Bun. Would Bun help me do this? Now, I'm cheating. I knew that it would. But that's the sort of thing you can ask. Like, hey, I already have this thing. Would that help me do this thing? Sure. Whatever it did, it's fine. This isn't even the main thrust of what we're trying to learn. We just wanted a nicer environment to learn in. Anytime you're doing something that seems frustrating or it's like, yeah, so much work to click refresh every time. Okay, server running, localhost 3000. So I can command click this link. There it is. And my code changed too. That means it got formatted. R1. So I'm going to put a 1 in there, right? It didn't auto reload. No, didn't auto reload. You told me it would. Also, I mean, this is just a Claude Code thing. This is not fundamental knowledge. This is incidental knowledge about Claude Code. Right now, when it tries to run a server itself, it just doesn't do a good job. I prefer to run them myself. Also, can you tell how to run the server myself? I don't want you to run it. See, it's not even looking at this because it's so busy running the server. So I'm going to hit escape, and that interrupts what it was doing. Now the server's down. Now I can send my message. Sorry about that. In your terminal, navigate to the Flappy Bird folder and run run dev. Look at that. It's telling me to use my terminal. Good thing I know how to use terminals. So I do a new tab. It'll be in the same folder, right? And I'll do run dev. Okay. Yes. Yes. Look, it auto reloaded. 3. Oh, that is so much nicer. Okay. All right. Let's speed run the rest of this tutorial. And this is a good cue for you that if you're trying to follow along, this is not going to be very fun if you're just watching the video. You need to be asking Claude what to do. Okay. Tell me what to do next? I'm all of a sudden a much better developer. I know. Is that cheating? I'm cheating. I should have the patience to work through this. Okay. Haha, nice. Oh, that's a little creepy. It's watching it's watching me. Okay, all right, good to know. Style your game with CSS. So we're going to add a style tag up above the title. Okay. And 3 parts. Selector, property value. The first task, add this basic styling inside your style tag. Okay. So star means select everything. Change it to be like this. Body. That's stuff that's inside of here. Okay, right. Is there a format? No. It's too bad. Looks okay, good. Now, okay, why is it blue? How did that happen? So this is a good example, like, okay, background, linear gradient, to bottom. Huh. So 9.8D 8E8. Here, I'm gonna let's do red or pink. Nice. So that's, remember, just find something and try to change it, see if it does what you think it's going to do. And if not, figure out why. All right, so now it's pink. Much better. Nice. What's next? Cool trick. Left 50. Okay, let's see. This is crazy. So every time we ask it what to do next, this is just luck of the draw, but it's looking at our file and see how we've changed it, so it knows how much we progressed. Okay, add this CSS after your body styles. Okay, that's that. Remember, at any time you'd ask Claude, what does this mean? What does this mean? What's going on? Add this. This will be the bird. This is pretty interesting. Position absolute lets us place it exactly where we want. This is important for stuff like games. And we're going to style the score. And it's doing this. It's explaining what's going on with these transforms to center the text. I mean, I look at this and I already see this is madness. What's going on in here? Also, it's not formatting automatically. But that's why you want to learn. Just to understand what's going on. Okay. Ooh, it's green down there. That's cool. This looks nice, but can we make it smaller? It takes up my whole browser window. Maybe we're going to do that next. Does it work? Yeah. Oh, it's because I was zoomed in. Never mind. I was... Okay, let's do this anyways. It'll be a little smaller for our view. know what the real size is. I don't know where to put this. All right, that's fine. It was my bad, by the way. I was zoomed in. Okay, let's continue. I mean, it's already looking pretty Flappy Birdie. We've got a sky, and we've got grass, we have a bird, and we have a score. It's time for bird physics. Let me just quit. No, that's fine. Update bird. If game running, not if exclamation mark game running. Okay. All of this so far, we've had HTML, we've had CSS. These are, HTML is a markup language for documents. CSS is a way of styling that markup language. This is actually JavaScript. We're going to have a script tag before the closing body tag. Okay. So right here. So this isn't very nice. We don't have any syntax highlighting. I don't get any syntax highlighting in my editor for the JavaScript. It's frolicking. I wonder how many people are still comment on the video if you're here right now in this moment. Okay, this is good. This is exactly what I would have done. Is what we're going to do is we're going to replace the script section with game.js. I like that. Use a better editor. As if. So we're going to swap out our script with this game.js thing. So now I'm going to make a new file and do game.js, edit. And now I'm going to put my script in there. Let's do the game.js thing. Oh no. Oh no. It wrote over my file. All right, put all the code in here. But look how much nicer it looks. It's not working. All right, we're stuck. I told you. I told you we'd get stuck. It doesn't work. Nothing is happening. Aha. So we left comments in that that CSS that we were doing before, and it fixed it. Okay, thank you for fixing, but remember, this is a tutorial. You're to tell me what to do. So now, look at that. We've got gravity. Absolutely right. I should be teaching you how to debug, not just fixing it for you. Finding problems, just open your browser dev tools. DC. Add this line at the very top of your game.js. Alert. Alert. JavaScript is working. Nice. Okay. So we got some debugging techniques. It's working now. How do we get the bird to fly? It only falls. Oh, let's see. This is the jump code. I should have read that. All right. Add jump controls. Add this jump function to your game.js file. Okay. Let's put that up here. Function jump. If game running not game running, right? We're going to say the velocity is going to equal the jump power. Cool. So we have basically these global variables that we're just modifying with code in here. This is how gravity works. This keeps the bird on the screen. It's great code. So click. Oh no, we need to add an event listener to click. Document.add event listener. Click. Jump. We'll add that before we start the loop. All right. Hey. Bonus, once it's working, try adding keyboard controls. That's what I really want. Document.add event listener key down E if E.code. That's a triple equals, just so you know. But if you didn't know, say, what is this? Jump. Strict equality. Okay. I have to. Did I miss something? Nothing seems to be happening. Let's console log jumping. Click jump doesn't work either anymore. How do I open up developer tools? I'm on a Mac. First, enable developer tools. Safari settings, advanced, show features for web developers. Yeah, console. Uh-oh. Unexpected identifier, set interval, expected parentheses to end an argument list. I also might be able to see some of this. Ideally, this kind of stuff gets run by Bun. Set interval. Kill the server. Can you give me a hint on what's wrong without fixing it for me? Oops. This is the only set interval. Document add event listener. Okay. Oh, I see what we did. Okay, so we added this event listener, right? We've got started a parentheses, but then we never closed it. Yes, yes. Jumping. Jumping. Okay. All right. I have decided that we have learned so much and that we can leave the rest of Flappy Bird as I'm not a whole developer yet. I haven't done the whole thing. But I made a strong start. And to be honest, I think I got it from here. So let's put it up on Git. How do I save this to GitHub? Go to github.com. Okay. Click the new Flappy Bird. Make it public. Sure. Don't check add readme. You already have files. Okay. Click create repository. GitHub show you commands like this. Copy and run them. Okay. Git remote add origin. Nice. Okay. I'm going to kill the server. I'm going to do it right here. Git remote add origin. Uh-oh. I think I have some files that don't belong in here. Oh, I forgot about this. In your terminal, in the Flappy Bird folder, git init. I forgot about that. Okay. But when I just listed the files, there's some stuff that I do not want. So I know how to remove stuff like that in Vim. But let's ask Claude. There are some files in here that shouldn't be related to NeoVim. Good catch. You're right. The process file should be committed. Let's clean this up first. See what's in your folder. ls. Okay. Create a git ignore file. All right. touch.gitignore in vim.gitignore. Add these lines. That didn't fix it. Let's do it the old-fashioned way. All right. Clean up any existing. Yeah. All right. Get init. Get add. All right. Get status. We're not. Oh no. No, I added the whole node modules folder. No. Stop, don't commit yet. Haven't run commit yet. Okay, so git reset. Okay. Git. Oh gosh. Invim.get ignore. We have node modules. Okay. I'm just gonna add stuff selectively. Git add my Flappy Bird, git add game.js, git add package JSON, git add prettier, git add server.js, git add server.js, git add tutorial, git add, git ignore, git status. Nice. Untracked files. Let's add git add bun.lock. Git add bun.lock. Git add claude. Git add example.html. Okay, nice. Git status. Nice. Okay. Yes, it did. Now what next? I did git add. I'll pull this up off the bottom. Git commit -m. Boom. We already created the GitHub repository. Git remote add origin, git branch m master, git push origin master. I want to use SSH. This gonna work? Nope. Okay, Control C to get out. Dang it, I added the HTTP remote instead of the SSH remote. Sorry guys. This is what is so frustrating. Getting Git set up on a new machine should not be this hard. Set URL. Okay. Git remote remove origin. Now we can do this one. Because remember, that's how we set it up with SSH. Git remote add origin. Yes, we should have keys. Yep. Git push u or git we're already branched. Git push u origin master. Boom. Boom. Wow. Wow. That is worth a checkbox. What else have we done? We did HTML. We did CSS. We did JavaScript. These are all very fundamental development skills. And I was breezing through this, so there's a lot to learn, but you know exactly how to ask. Nobody writes everything. What I want, it's fine to depend on other things to do some of the work for you, you know, like we don't know much about server.js, you know, like what is server.js? Like there's some whole bun server thing going on. We don't care. If we wanted to care, we totally could care. We could learn about that. Maybe that's the most interesting part of this. You can learn how this live reload server stuff works. But we're just learning. We're just starting. So we're going to focus on what we're learning and we can depend on other stuff. Just make sure you're still at that point that there is some struggle. There's some challenge, because if it starts to feel too easy, you're probably not learning anymore. And then, we already talked about this. Can I do X? New thing. I want a live server with Y. The thing I already know, bun. Turns out, yes. Turns out bun can do a million different things. It can do so many things. So you have this great toolbox now for doing web things with bun. Okay. These are follow-up challenges. And I'll put the links in the YouTube. You could deploy to Vercel. Now that you have a GitHub account, it's really easy to sign up. It's really easy to deploy to Vercel. There's other places you can deploy from that GitHub. Because now that it's stored on the internet, it's really easy to get it out in the world. I started personally with this flow where I'm editing in Vim so I don't get all the crazy AI autocomplete, and I'm asking AI for help, following this ray tracing in one weekend project. And it's been really fun. I don't know anything about this math stuff. I'm more using it as a chance to learn some Zig. So it'd be nice to learn more of the math and understand it better, but mostly I'm just thinking about the Zig code, and that's been fun for me. You don't have to learn everything all at once. Project Euler. This is something that I did way back when I was learning to code. And there's these math problems. And the cool thing about these is there's no code in the tutorial. It's not a tutorial. It's just a challenge. And it's not the hardest math problem, and it's not the hardest programming problem. But you're kind of doing those both together, and they both help. Both those skills help. And I mean, I didn't get very far back in the day. I forget exactly where, but it was really fun to go for, it's a whole series of questions. I got really into some primes stuff. Probably got stuck around triangle numbers. And then, make something useful for you. I think it's really easy to get stuck just following tutorials. It's just trying to learn for the sake of learning. And it's fun to learn for the sake of learning. But something that will upsize your desire to code is if you're working on something that you actually care about. And so the best way to get good, and the other thing is if you're doing a tutorial, it's already a solved problem. If you have to solve the problems yourself because it's your specific thing that you need that doesn't exist already, that's a great chance and opportunity to learn more, rather than just relying on the answers that you're looking up. Do the follow-up challenges and do the whole thing until it works. So at the state that, and we learned terminal, Vim, Git, and web stuff. Right now we're at 85% dev. It's up to you to go the full 100%. I believe in you. You can learn to fly. Thank you for watching.